When the silence broke, I used to think silence was peace, but silence can also be the sound of everything falling apart. My name is Nathan Cole, and 3 years ago, I watched my whole world collapse in a single afternoon. Not in a car crash, not in a fire, but in a wedding garden filled with white roses and broken promises. It was supposed to be my sister's happiest day. Emily, my little sister, the one who still believed in fairy tales, was about to marry Ryan Mitchell. A man everyone called perfect. And he was perfect, in the kind of way that makes you suspicious if you look too long. He smiled too easily, spoke too smoothly, and every time I asked about his past, he brushed it away like dust from his sleeve. Still, I wanted to trust him, because Emily loved him like sunlight, unconditionally, completely. At that time, I was already 8 years into my marriage with Lydia. We'd been through everything together, rent we couldn't afford, ramen dinners, nights on the floor of our first apartment. She was my anchor, my best friend, my everything. But lately she'd started slipping away. Her laughter became shorter, her eyes distant. She worked late, kept her phone on silent, smiled only when I wasn't looking. I told myself it was stress. Everyone drifts sometimes. But one evening, as she showered, her phone lit up on the counter. And something in me, some quiet, desperate instinct, told me to look. The message was short. "You smelled like jasmine again. I still can't forget last night." At first, I thought it was a wrong number. But then I saw the name. Ryan M. I scrolled up, and there it was. A string of messages, weeks of them. Pictures, hotel receipts. "Can't wait to see you before she finds out. She's sweet, but you're the one I want." Ryan, the man marrying my sister. The man standing in my family's backyard every Sunday, laughing with my parents, shaking my hand, and my wife. The woman I thought I knew better than anyone. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in the dark, phone in my hand, listening to Lydia breathe beside me. Peaceful, unaware that the world was burning inside my chest. I hired a private investigator. 2 weeks later, I had everything. Photos, dates, proof. Them together in his car, in his hotel, in her favorite cafe. It wasn't just an affair. It was a plan. Ryan had promised her a new life, with money, comfort, and no witnesses. Once the wedding was over, he'd figure out a way to make it right. That was the line that broke me. He was going to marry my sister and keep my wife. I tried to warn Emily. She laughed, said I was being paranoid, said love makes people jealous. So I stopped talking and started preparing. The wedding day was hot, the kind of heat that makes the air shimmer. The music was soft, the crowd perfect. Ryan looked like a man from a magazine, Emily glowing in white lace, and Lydia. God. She was stunning that day, too stunning, like a ghost dressed in the prettiest lie. When the priest said, "If anyone has reason why these two should not be joined," my pulse started pounding. I raised my hand and said quietly, "I do." Everyone turned. Lydia's smile faded. Ryan's jaw tightened. I took out my phone, connected it to the big screen. The garden fell silent. Messages, photos, proof. Every betrayal flashing like lightning across the screen. Emily's bouquet dropped. Ryan whispered something, but it was too late. Lydia tried to pull the plug, but I stopped her. "You both deserve the truth," I said. "And she deserves better than this." The wedding ended in chaos. Ryan ran. Lydia followed him. Emily collapsed in tears. My mother begged me to stop, and my father, God bless him, just sat there, stunned, whispering prayers under his breath. Emily left that night, moved across the country, blocked my number, and I went home alone. The house felt too quiet, too clean, too empty. For the first time in my life, I wished I hadn't been right. 6 months passed. One cold morning, I got a message. "I want to talk." It was Emily. We met in a small diner by the harbor. She looked older, softer, but calmer too. "I hated you," she said, "for destroying my wedding." "I know, but you saved me. I just didn't want to see it." I looked down at my coffee, not trusting my voice. "You lost everything too," she whispered. "Maybe that's what family does," I said. We fall together and we rise together." She smiled. And for the first time in years, I felt peace. Life moved forward. Emily found love again, with a man named Tom, kind and quiet. And me? I rebuilt myself, piece by piece. I started seeing someone I never expected. Grace, a longtime friend of Emily's, a woman who'd always been there on the sidelines. She was the one who brought coffee when my mother was sick, who checked on me after the wedding. I never noticed her before, not really. But she noticed me. She saw the brokenness and didn't try to fix it. She just sat with it, with me. And slowly, her laughter filled the silence that used to haunt me. 3 years later, I stood again at an altar, this time beside Emily. She was marrying Tom, her real forever. As she walked down the aisle, she reached for my hand and whispered, "You gave me back my life." I smiled. "You gave me back mine." And in the crowd, I saw Grace, her soft eyes, her quiet smile. And I realized that sometimes the heart doesn't heal by forgetting. It heals by finding someone who listens to the silence and stays. When people ask me now what that wedding taught me, I tell them this: truth hurts, but silence kills. And sometimes losing everything is the only way to find what's real.